So I want to take this opportunity to give a shout out to two people that have done some stuff very recently that I was very, very happy to see. Pat Riley and Charles Barkley, two old school folks in the NBA, NBA legends in their own right and what they've done. And they have really taken the chance to fight back against a lot of what's going on with the NBA. As you know, a lot of my recent videos have been about the NBA, why the ratings are down so much, why the fans are so disgruntled, why people are just kind of basically giving up on it. And recently we've seen two of the issues come to front, and they've been handled. My last video was pretty much just a long rambling rant. I was talking about what Caitlin Clark said about the NBA, and then it turned into just a rant about everything, because that's kind of where the NBA is at. It's hard to narrow it down to a few things into anything coherent, especially if you're me, who has trouble getting coherent stuff anyways, saying coherent stuff anyways. But I just want to give those two a lot of credit, and it gives me a chance to basically narrow it down to two issues. So Jimmy Butler's a big star in the Heat. He's done some great things for Miami. He's been a great player. You know, they've not always had the best team, but he's done his best. He's taken them to a couple finals, and Pat Riley keeps putting some very good pieces around him to complement him. And like I said, he runs the Heat the way he runs the Heat. He's very, very old school. And recently, Jimmy Butler made some comments in a press conference, basically trying to strong arm them into a trade. And that's one of the things that's been a big issue with this league right now, is players strong arming their organizations into trading them when they really don't have any right to do so, and it just comes across as very bad. This guy's making $48 million a year. It's pathetic. And he's sitting there trying, I don't really have my love for basketball. Basically just saying, I don't want to be here. He just may as well have said it. I'd have respected Jimmy Butler a lot more if he just said, I don't want to be here. Of course, the ultimate respect would have been if he'd gone behind closed doors and said, here's my issues. How can we find a way out of this? Maybe he's done that, and maybe Pat Riley didn't give him the answer he wanted. Like I said, Pat Riley's very old school. He played in the 70s. He coached throughout the 80s into the 90s, some of the most hard-nosed teams out there. He coached the Showtime Lakers, and don't let that Showtime moniker fool you. That was a tough team. If they didn't play, if you felt like their effort was slacking a little bit at any point in that 82-game season, he would practice the fire out of them. He didn't care that he had, the biggest stars in the world on his team. Magic Johnson, who was the biggest star until Michael Jordan took over, and even then he's still a pretty darn big star. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at the time was probably the best ever, behind Russell before, again, Jordan took over. Big game James Worthy. You talk about the best third option ever. I mean, you talk about a murderer's row. He didn't give in to them. He made sure they knew that he was in charge, and that the power belonged in his hands. And, Dr. Jerry Buss did his part to allow them to, allowed Pat Riley to run his team. And that's another thing a lot of owners are not doing now. And kudos, I don't even know who owns the Heat, but they are letting Pat Riley do his thing. And that's the important thing. And he said no. Jimmy Butler's been suspended for 7 games for conduct detrimental to the team. And that's how it should be. Big kudos to him for doing that. And just too much player empowerment. I'm glad to see somebody finally take a stand, suspend the guy, and like I said, basically put him in his place. Very, very glad to see that. I wish more coaches would do that. If they did that, I think the NBA would be a lot better. That's one of the issues. So kudos to Pat Riley for standing up to that. He stood up to LeBron too. LeBron, who's the face of player empowerment. He wanted Eric Spoelstra fired, who, by the way, is still the coach of the Miami Heat. Pat Riley said no. LeBron went on to win 2 championships in his 4 years with the Heat. Would have been 3 if he didn't gag his guts out in the 2011 finals. So it's his fault he didn't have 3. So his most success that he had with any tenure, either his first or his second one with Cleveland, his time with Los Angeles, and with Miami, was with Miami. That's where his most successful time came from. He didn't do anything his first go around in Cleveland, despite being given a lot. His second time in Cleveland, he did get that 1 championship. It was an impressive one. Came back from 3-1 down. Only got that 1 ring in his 4 years that time. Got blown out of the finals by the Golden State Warriors in all his other 3 years in his second go around. and he got that bubble championship with LA. But other than that, they've been very, very either missing the playoffs, getting eliminated in the first round, or they did make the Western Finals one year, the year that Denver won it, and they got swept by Denver. And Denver went on to win the championship over the Heat. So LeBron's been the face of player empowerment. Pat Riley had no problem telling him no. He had a lot of star-studded, Pat Riley also had a lot of star-studded teams in the 90s with the Knicks. And in the late 90s with when he still coached the Heat with Alonzo Mourning and people like that, and he said no. So he's very old school, and I'm glad to see that, because somebody like Jimmy Butler, if you're gonna sit there and do that at a press conference, he deserves to be suspended. He deserves the shame from that. I don't know if they're going to. I don't know what the Players Association is going to do. I don't know if that's legal or not. I'm sure Adam Silver's probably going to rescind it or whatever, because he's weak. He's a pussy. I'm just going to say he's a pussy, and he'll probably rescind it. But at the end of the day, Jimmy Butler has been shamed by Pat Riley publicly, and that is a good thing. The other person I got to thank is Charles Barkley. Once again, old school, and somebody who does not care, telling you how he feels. After his legendary playing career, when he played amazing, didn't get a championship, but he was there in the era of Jordan, and you're just in Hakeem. You're just not going to win championships, or it's going to be very, very difficult to win championships in that era. And he started his career when the Celtics and Showtime Lakers were doing well. But he still had a legendary career, and his post-NBA career as an analyst has been amazing. He's part of the Inside the NBA himself, Ernie Johnson, and Kenny the Jet. They've just been amazing, and now ever since they got Shaq there, they've been even more amazing. And he can pretty much say whatever he wants, and he does say whatever he wants. Recently, Redick, the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, and one of the most arrogant, insufferable pieces of trash I've ever seen in my life. One of those people who thinks he's so much smarter than everybody else, and that he's just, and you just ask him. He'll tell you he's that much smarter. He's a typical Duke graduate. Thinks he's the smartest person in the room, thinks he knows more about everything than everybody else. He just has some things to say because there's so much negativity surrounding the league. Now, he himself, as an analyst, when he was with ESPN, because that's how he got his job. He was an analyst at ESPN, but he also kissed up to LeBron, who the Lakers bend over backwards for, and do everything he wants, even though it's resulted in him not being as successful. They hired the coach he wanted, which was Redick. And JJ went on a rant saying that, the media is to blame. They're being way too negative about the product. Well, guess what, JJ? The product freaking sucks. You can try to spin it the way you want to. The product sucks, and the media is not the problem. You're the problem. And Charles Barkley went off on him. It was pretty awesome. It was amazing to see. I love seeing it. He just said, first of all, he made fun of the fact that, he thought he was going to walk in there and change the Lakers and put them in a better situation than Frank Vogel and Darvin Ham before him, their coaches, who did well, but it wasn't well enough, and he's got them pretty much in the exact same situation they were before that, if not even worse. JJ, you'd love to buy him for what he's worth and then sell him for what he thinks he's worth. It'd be a very good investment, and like I said, Charles let him have it. It's always nice to see a Duke graduate like that get knocked down a peg or two, because he told the truth. That's just Redick. He's always felt like he was a lot smarter than he really is, even going back to his days when he was at Duke University, gagging in the NCAA tournament during March Madness and driving in the streets of Durham, North Carolina, drunk. That was his MO back then. Act like he's smarter than everybody else, and this is his MO now. And it's high time he realizes he's not as smart as he thinks he is. And so thank you, Charles Barkley. Thank you, Pat Riley. We need more people like you if we're going to get the NBA back. Are we going to get the NBA back? I don't know. But that's a good start. And looks like people are pretty unanimously behind them, and it's good to see. So good for them. Thank you guys for doing that, and thank you guys for watching these videos. I have fun making them, and I hope you have fun watching them. So thank you, and I'll talk to you guys later.